entire season. How much has your loss to Washington carried over in terms of how your team remembers that, fuels their season, whatever?
Well, I think when you get into playoffs, and I'll speak on our team only, we go through what we went through as far as Game 3, overtime loss after winning 2 in their building, and not finding a way to win a home game in that series, where we were here and then we just started losing ourselves. I think you can always learn from some of your losses in the playoffs, but certainly not dwell on it. We haven't talked too much about the series against Washington. I think some of the ebbs and flows of that series will come into play as we start this series and start playing the games. But we've kind of turned the page, Peck, and a little bit of a different team. I think we have a little bit of a different mindset. We're ready to play Game 1. That's all we're concentrating on right now is Game 1.
John, you had, in the 3 games against Tampa this year, if I'm remembering correctly, there were stretches in each of those games where you played really, really well, and the game seemed to be how you wanted it to be played.
Versus, you talking about the Tampa's, the regular season?
Yeah, the 3 games against Tampa Bay,
yeah.
Especially the one in Columbus, the most recent one in the first period.
Yeah.
Is it encouraging that you've had long stretches like that where you feel like you've matched them, or is it demoralizing in the sense that you've played pretty well at times and still it's 3-0 and 17-3?
We're not even looking at the numbers. We're glass. It's half full. I think we have. We certainly respect this team, Tampa.
Yeah.
But we feel pretty comfortable in our skin as far as what we're about, what we did in those games there. We've certainly brought to light some of the things that went on in that game as far as how well we did play.
Yeah.
So you go through that. We had an extensive video session today, just looking at some of the good things that have happened, not only against them, but just how we're playing. You certainly bring that to the forefront as you start a series. Then I think you kind of get into situations what happened in Game 1. What did they do? Did they do anything different and this and that? But we're in a good frame. We're in a good frame. As I said yesterday, we're just concentrating about ourselves, about preparing the best way we can, not only with our physical skills and our team concept, but our whole mindset as far as we start this series.
And will you play differently against them? Are you going to change how you think you need to play against them from how you played against them in the regular season? Based on those results, will there be changes for you?
We're not changing who we are. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. There's certainly, when you get into a series, there are certain things you have to look for, tendencies of the other team that you may have to make an adjustment to. Certainly that's going to be there, but our overall mindset is we have found ways to win games this year the way we play, and we're not going to go into a counter-punching type situation here and get overall concerned about how many adjustments we have to make. You can't lose your identity. We're certainly going along that vein.
You mentioned turning the page, and you have never said, when you're in the Amalie Arena, that of course you're aware of what you did with the part of the history you are with this franchise. But you don't strike me as someone it's especially hard to block that out as you go into a series.
No, don't even start talking to me about nostalgia and reminiscing. I mean it. We are focused. I like this team that we have here in Columbus. We are totally focused on what we're going to try to do.
John, how would you rate the balance between focus and enjoying the moment, which I know has been important?
Oh shit, they're having a ball.
They seem loose today.
Yeah. I mean, they were just humming today in practice, and it's to be expected. That crap of the regular season's over, and the grind that you go through, and it never ceases to amaze me how hard it is to get into playoffs. We have 98 points, I think 47 wins, and we're struggling to get in the last 2 games. It's hard to get in. They should feel really proud that they found their way, and now it's a whole different type of uplifting feeling that the good stuff happens now.
John, in the 16-17 season when you guys were in with like 8 games left or whatever.
Fortunately, I don't remember all that. Yeah.
I'll circle back to this year.
Okay.
But that bothered you a little bit because it was hard to keep that edge about yourself.
When we had a cushion, yes.
You were in early.
Yeah.
And that does having to win, I think you won 7 of your last 8 just to get in by 2 points or whatever. does it give you any sort of an edge? Maybe I don't mean an edge over Tampa Bay, but an edge to your game, and that you had to be sharp.
Yeah,
you had to be desperate.
I think just the concentration level that we've had to play at.
Yeah.
Certainly is at a higher level right now, entering a playoff series after that.
Yeah.
I remember, I think we clinched with like 11 games left or
Yeah, it
something.
was a lot.
Very similar to the club we're playing against here. And I bemoan the fact that, I wish we were playing for games. I'm not so sure, we want to go through what we had to go through this year.
Right.
Be careful what you wish for.
Right.
But we are certainly more concentrated in our thinking, and I think we have been a hell of a lot more consistent the last quarter of the year. Take away a few games after that deadline where it was just a little funky. I think we have more concentrated on how we have to play to win. So I think that's helped us.
The give and take of any postseason. I mean, they come in like leading the league in points. They come in as, in a sense, the hunted. Do you like being the hunted or the hunter?
It doesn't matter to me. I think the days of talking about being the underdog and that they're so good and this and that, I don't think, I think the gamesmanship of all that, I don't think that's in our game anymore. I'm telling you right now, all we have talked about is worry about ourselves, ignore the noise around us, whether it be good or bad, concentrate as far as kind of a bunker mentality as far as our preparation here. We've had a couple of really good days, and let's go play. Let's not overthink things. Let's not worry about what people are saying about us or the series, and just play our game. Let's see where we stand.
John, Panarin sets club records in scoring two seasons.
Who?
In a row. Panarin. Panarin,
Yeah.
2 seasons in a row,
Yeah.
and it could happen without good understanding with the head coach.
What?
Yeah, it couldn't happen without very good understanding with head coach.
Meaning, explain that to me, understanding with the head coach.
Just was it easy for you to get along with Artemi and to feel main things about his personality?
Tremendous pro. As I've said, when we got him, I knew how skilled he was. I wasn't sure how he was going to be as a person, and does he understand the other parts of the game? He's been aces as far as how he's handled himself. One of the top players. I think he's top 3 in this league as far as the player. And I really respect how he goes about it. He plays at $170, and he wins more battles than a lot of people in this league. He has a great willingness about him. So we're very fortunate to have him in the organization.
What key things do you expect from him besides scoring in the playoffs?
Well, scoring is a very key thing for him. That's a big part of his game. He just has to understand, as all players do, when you get to playoffs, the games are tighter. There still has to be a focus and a concentration level without losing the strength of your game, your instinctiveness, as he is, one of the most instinctive guys I've ever coached. There's still some work to do on the other side of the puck when we don't have it. And he has shown that to us. I think that's going to be very important in the series.
Do you have a feeling that...
Last question on Panarin.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have a feeling that for Bobrovsky it's extra challenge to win Russian goalie competitions with Vasilevsky? And who of these two, in your opinion, deserves more the Vezina Trophy?
Oh, no, I'm not going to talk about any trophies, not at this time of year. But I'll tell you the guy we have, he is one hell of a goalie. I can't speak on Vasilevsky. I'm not with him every day. I know the guy we have, the way he prepares, the way he goes about his business before he steps on the ice, it's second to none. And I've had Hasek, I've had Henrik Lundqvist, I've had some really good goalies that I've been fortunate enough to be around and watch how they prepare. There's no one that prepares better than our guy, and we're looking forward to see him play.
Cooper said some very nice things about you earlier.
Yeah, I'm not in. Yeah, yeah.
I'm just saying, what do you think about him?
I'm not interested in talking about the other team. We're going to compete against them and play against them. That's all we're looking to do here.
John, last year Nick played quite a bit of center. This year, not a lot of center on the wing. Can he go back to that? I mean,
Yes.
How important was that for him to have that whole year where he just kind of learned how to play that position?
Yeah, and Nick, it's not a big change for him. I think that's going to be a pretty important line for us to give us some balance through our lineup. So yeah, he has no qualms. Nick Foligno has always told me, whatever you need me to do, I will do. And we all know that's what he's made of.
John, sticking with
Sorry.
Last one. Sticking with that line, Bjorkstrand just got so hot at the end of the season. What extra dimension does that add to your offense when you think about, he's going?
Yeah, well, I got Nick, him, and the young kid playing together, and it just gives us some balance through the lineup. As you get into playoffs and you're playing against some of the top teams in the league, that's important. And Nick also plays very well on the other side of the puck. Got a young left winger with him right now. Borky has really grown in that part of it as far as his battles. I think that's what really turned his season around. So that's a good line.
Guys who played for you said that during the regular season you were tough on them, but during the playoffs you make it feel like you're with them, or that you want to make that across, whether what you say to them or say to us on the outside. How do you describe that philosophy in terms of, and why is it, important to, not say you change your whole approach as a coach, but you have a different kind of bunker mentality, I guess, when you have in.
Well, I think when you're going through the regular season, all the things that go on with a team, the egos of players, the ups and downs of a long 82-game schedule, everything that goes into it, I think a coach needs to make sure that I think the biggest part of his job is trying to push the right buttons to get each and every player to play, and then buy into playing under a team concept. I think when you go through the months of that, I think a coach needs to be sharp in that area, and I think it's a little bit of a different attitude, because there is some conflict, there is some coaching to try to get players to understand they just have to play better, and where that comes, there's conflict and conversations that go on with it. After you go through a season and you get where you want to be in the playoffs, I think the coach has to put a pause button on that type of attitude as far as coaching, and be with the team. They have done the things you've asked them to do through that regular season to get the team to the playoffs. Now we've got to try to enjoy it together. Now there's going to be coaching, obviously, and talks about certain situations of the game, but it's not going to be and it never really is to me. I think you guys make it that way. It's never really standoffish type of relationship. It's an honest relationship. I think players deserve the honesty, and I'm always going to give it to them. Here, I think we kind of join in together, and I think it brings a type of camaraderie that you need when you get into playoffs.
Do you think 8 versus 1 is different now than it used to be? I think you referenced that earlier. Do you think it's not, the league's parity is such that the gap isn't?
There's so much parity, yeah. I have thoughts about the playoff system, but that's for another day. Yeah. I'm just ready to play in them. Yeah, so I got to go. I got to go to the league and talk to Coley.
Zach, how much are you looking forward to getting this series started and getting a chance to just play again in the playoffs?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's the most fun time of the year. You work hard for 82 games to get to this point, and we're happy we're here, but there's still work to do, so we're excited to get going.
You talk about that work to do and the fact that the way this series stacks up, I mean, you're the team that everybody on the outside feels doesn't have a chance, but what's the attitude in this room?
Yeah, we've been a find-a-way team all year, find a way to win games, find a way to make the playoffs. So we're going to prepare as best we can, and tomorrow night we're just going to go out there and try and find a way.
What do you think is most different about this team right now over the course of the last probably 2.5 weeks of the regular season?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have some chemistry now, right on through our lineup. I think right after the trade deadline, it kind of gets a little hard to find that chemistry, a little bit more pressure on us to make the playoffs. But now that we're here, anything can happen. And the last 2 weeks, we've been playing some really good hockey, so we just have to continue to do that.
Right after that deadline, is it possible that you got so much more skill that maybe you thought you were something that you're not? And what I mean is, you're a hardworking team, and maybe you got away from the hard work just a little bit, thinking that there was enough skill to make up for it, and it was a reminder that those two things go together all the time.
Yeah, for sure. We have to be the hardest working team on the ice if we're going to win games. That's our identity, and that's how we have to play. I think after the deadline, kind of like you said, we might have shied away from that a little bit, and our record showed, and we were getting blown out in some games. So we've corrected it, and we've been playing a lot better hockey as of late. And like I said, we just have to keep doing that moving forward.
What's the biggest challenge for you in dealing with the forwards that they will just send after you time and time and time again? No matter what line it is, you guys will be challenged when you're on the ice.
Yeah, I think me and Jones, you just have to go out there and play our game. And when we're doing that, we're not spending too much time in our D zone. We're shutting plays down early. We're getting the puck up to our forwards. We're having good gaps. Usually when we're playing our best, we're playing in the offensive zone, so we have to try and do that this series.
And you'll need help from the forwards, too, defensively in this series.
Yeah, for sure. It's a team game, and everyone's going to have to pull their weight this series.
Zach, how would you describe today, especially the mindset
knowing you guys are underdogs, but knowing you want to play loose and focused at the same time?
Yeah, we had fun at the rink today. We had some video. We're going to prepare the best we can for tomorrow. We had a fun practice. We're keeping it loose right now, and just going to go out there tomorrow and then, like I said, find a way and try and win some games here.
That was a topic during the final push to the playoffs, to kind of relax and enjoy where you are. How important will that be beginning tomorrow night?
Yeah, like I said, it's the most fun time of the year. These games, they're all exciting. They're all fun. Everyone's crowd's into it. So it's going to be fun tomorrow night to go out there and just play some hockey and show everyone what we can do.
To be back in this building today, is it special for you? Because I remember being here last year. It's right after Torts moved you from wing and put you at center, and you spent all the time talking about how your dad used to do that to get your legs moving. That seems like a million years ago right now to me. What's it feel like to you?
Yeah, it feels like a long time ago. I kind of forgot about that, but yeah, it's I guess that's kind of where it started, that in Florida, because it was the game just before the Tampa game. But yeah, it feels like a really long time ago.
Well, not only was it there was time last season, but you went through a Stanley Cup playoff already, and now here you are ready to participate in your second one. What are the feelings for you entering the playoffs?
I'm excited. Last year I was excited too. It was the first time, and now going into the second season, second time going through the playoffs. I learned a lot last year, and it's a fun time of the year. I mean, we work hard in training camp. We work hard during the season to make the playoffs. Now we're finally here, so everybody's pretty excited.
What did you learn from this season? For everything that you went through, the ups and the downs, playing on the first line, playing on the second line, whatever it was. What did you learn about yourself this season that you didn't know?
I learned a lot this year. Whether it was the start of the year, the middle of the year, even towards the end. I just learned to trust my instincts and just play. I'm someone who I expect a lot out of myself. I put a lot of pressure on myself, but if I just play hockey, that's when I think I play my best.
One of the things you do well is you play to your size, and against this team, they're very quick. But how important will it be to forecheck and forecheck effectively? Try to get the body on them when you can to try to throw them off their game.
Yeah, it's gonna be important. I think there's also moments in games that you need that physical presence more than other times, and I think that's a part of my game. That's a part of who I am as a player. I can forecheck when I need to. I can protect the puck. I can go to the net. So it's going to be important to figure out when the team needs me in certain areas the most.
How happy are you to be back on that line with Panarin and Atkinson?
Yeah, it's fun. We have so much depth on this team that wherever I play, honestly, I'd be happy. So I've played with them pretty much all year and through last year too. So it's a sense of I'm more familiar. But like I said, we have so many good players, so much talent on this team that it doesn't really matter where I play or even what position I play.
You go back to the regular season, all 3 games you played against this team, there were bright spots. Unfortunately, they were dimmed by the end of the game, and they got you guys pretty good. But what have you taken from those games? Have you taken the good parts and looked at those to get ready for this series?
Yeah. We took the parts that we can learn from and we can get better at. But they're a really good team. They strike fast. They're talented. But we played some really good minutes against them. We didn't score as many goals as we wanted to, but we had some good minutes. And going into the series, it's kind of a new season starts today. So honestly, I don't remember exactly the results of the games we played against them. But like I said, I remember we had some good minutes in games.
Hey, George has talked about just relaxing, having fun. You having fun right now? Are you relaxed?
Yeah, I feel good. I'm excited. Had a good practice, and practicing is fun, but it's nothing to play off hockey, so I'm excited to play.